Really good armor, an incredibly value-focused weapon, and a ton of attack reactions, Decimator Olympia is awesome. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back for another installment of Dice Commando here on the channel. And thank you for tuning in today. We're talking Decimator Olympia, crazy, crazy weapon coming out of Dusk Till Dawn, where if your opponent defends with a non-equipment card, it doesn't matter where it's from. Any non-equipment card, you could half one of the defending cards. Not super relevant in Commoner as far as temper goes, but it can happen. You know, Betsy's there. Maybe it's a mirror match, whatever. I guess Kayo's got one as well. That's right. So it could come up. Victor's got? No, actually, Victor doesn't. Victor doesn't. But you get my point. Could come up, probably won't. But either way, really good value out of this thing. And all you need to do is get to end game, and you're going to grind them out, right? Because they're going to run out of stuff, and you're going to get them. Now, I do want to give a plea out there to my commoner folks. These videos, right, commoner videos historically don't do super well in terms of net views. And I accept that. I love commoner stuff. That's why we keep doing it. What I need from you, I need the likes in the comments. Okay, so just, the algorithms, that stuff, thumbs up, all that. Love it. Love you. All right, so let's go ahead right into the deck, and we can talk kind of as we go through some of the includes, the reasons, and the challenges around them. So as I mentioned, really good armor. The first of that, of course, is his helmet, which is a 2-1. You're going to want to use it for blocking, right? You're not going to get really much anything off that. Sure, gold is a thing, but what are you going to use it for? Right? We don't even know what the heck we're going to use it for in CC for the most part, right? So just remember 2 and then a 1. It'll do good against Kadachis. It'll be fine. Okay, we have the boots and then Gallantry Gold for 1. Now we are playing deep blue on the chest. This is not 1. Sure, there are many options out there that could give you a 1 blade break, something like that. Plenty of options. Deep blue is the right call because if you dead draw, you can turn anything into a blue, anything into a Decimator swing. It's the right way to go. Okay. Now, one interesting thing about this deck is it actually does okay into Iyslander. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. You just have to be careful how you approach it, right? So obviously what you wouldn't want to do is like a Sharpened Steel with 1 card in hand, and then they frostbite you, and then you can't swing, right? So don't do stuff like that, right? Just make sure you're swinging first. And you have a ton of attack reactions with which you can, well, not a ton, but you have a number of attack reactions with which you can get things done. We also just have basic swings like Wounding Blow and Critical Strike to get work done. Okay, I actually really like Wounding Blow with this, and we'll talk about why. Okay, so no other options involved. We do have Decimator Great Axe. Also, by the way, in the Iyslander matchup, I recommend running Fyendals as well, so you can just come big, okay, with 2 card hand in that case, but you get my point. They can't disrupt you. You just come out with it, okay? Now, the key in this deck is starting the Vigor train, right? Once you get your Vigor on board, then you can start you can start doing your front pumps, right? So if we look at cards like Edge Ahead, right, which is your wager card, you look at Oldhim, which is a wager card, you look at Lead with Heart, which is a 1, right? The point being all these are 1s, okay? Getting that extra 1 on board, you can often even keep the train going. And then you also have follow-ups like Critical Strike and Wounding Blow, and you're like, well, is that just a raw? Well, no, because we have agility tokens as well from Edge Ahead that you can basically force blocks, right? I mean, if you think about it, an Edge Ahead coming in with any wager, a +3 coming in with Decimator, you're swinging 7 in a 20 health format with a axe that penalizes them for blocking. It's going to be hard to make it's going to be hard for them to make you not hit, right? And a lot of times it's going to cost them 3 cards, which, you know what? That stinks that you didn't get your wager. Maybe you gave them an agility, but remember, it pops on their next turn. So if they can't effectively use it, there's no real penalty to you, right? So that's pretty cool, right? And then it lets you have more cards for your next crackback. It really works to your advantage, okay? So I already talked about Iyslander with Dash. Again, look at your cards. You have a lot of cards that defend very, very, very well. You're pretty much on the fatigue plan because you ain't going to out-accelerate Dash. So you're on the fatigue plan. Fair enough. You know how to do that. You block good. And then I also have some tricks in here, like Peace of Mind. Okay, so Peace of Mind is, yes, a 2, but you can prevent 4 damage. Now that has to be physical, but then you also get a Ponder, so it's kind of a backfill. It's a cheeky one early. And actually, I don't hate it against Icelander either, right? Just in case. Have it in Arsenal, something like that. Okay. Now, the rest of this is pretty straightforward. If we look at the reacts that we have on board, Iron Song Response is just target weapon. That one speaks for itself. Be careful with Iron Song Response, getting it stuck in Arsenal, right? Because a lot of times they're not going to want to block because they block inefficiently. Iron Song is definitely a defend early. It's a want it late. If you get it early, don't put it in Arsenal. Just defend with it, right? If you get it early, just pre-defend with it if you can. If it goes in Arsenal, it's fine. But remember, you don't have ways to cycle. You don't have Crown of Providence, stuff like that, right? So don't get it stuck in there. You have stuff like Stroke of Foresight, which is just sure, it has Reprise, but it's a basic 1/3. You also have Vigorous Engagement, which is +3, and then you can actually get a Vigor if they defend with the right type of card. So it works pretty well for you. And then, of course, we have Felling Swing. Felling Swing, I mean, throwing 10 on Decimator, never a bad thing. Never a bad thing, but you really want this late, right? What you want to do is set up kind of what I talked about, something where you can throw 7 on a wager. They don't really have the option not to block. It's going to cost them 1 to 2 cards. Then you're going to have a full hand with which to crack back for 10. A lot of times that's going to be all she wrote. Okay, so pretty effective there. Now, again, we talked about Crit Strike and Wounded Blow. Both of those are really, so Crit Strike's a really good one to put in Arsenal. Wounding Blow, not as good, but sure. But what you really want to do is have it there, and then you can pop your boots if you need to, right, for the extra action point, or you can utilize your vigor, or sorry, your agilities with which to come in for 3. And again, it doesn't matter if you hit or not, right? Doesn't matter because you have the agility there. It does on the boots if you hit. But in terms of the agility token, if you have it, you can come in, and that's where, you could even come in with a 1-card hand, Decimator for 4, Wounding Blow for 4, right? If that's in your arsenal with a 1-card hand. Critical Strike, generally you're playing off either we had to front pump something, or we had to react or whatever, or crack boots, go Critical Strike. But both of them in their own are fine. And guess what? They both block 3, right? That's why both of them, I believe both of them belong in the deck, right? There is a very real argument. I've tried, by the way, fun fact, I've tried Push to Point instead of Critical Strike, but you get in that weird thing where it defends 2 and you have to hit. Otherwise, it's only a 4. So I think Crit Strike's better because it's a 3 if you pull it and you don't know what to do with it, okay? So that rounds out that's the list, right? Obviously, it's connected below. One thing I want to point out is we're on AB3, which makes sense. We have lots of blues, but I am on Arcane Polarity because a lot of times they're going to be throwing, Icelander throws a lot of like Scalding Rains or the Aether Hail. I can't think of it right now, but it's the 1/4. It's the 1/4 red, 1/2 blue. They'll throw that at you as well. And a lot of times you'll bleed 1, couple. Arcane Polarity, I think, works really well in this because you need blues to swing, right? And that's your limiting factor, okay? So I think Polarity is correct here. I know, again, you want to like AB2, leave the 1 floating, and then right Moon, and then AB4 or prevent 4 right off a blue. It's a good play, but I think Polarity is actually right because it lets you take a little bit of hits and keep the pressure on. So I believe that to be correct, but you got to do you and play the way that you want to play, right? So completely transposable slots makes a lot of sense. Anyway, so that'll wrap it up today. That is the Olympia Decimator list. Have fun with it. It is a lot of fun. And go Commando.